Could you tell us about your ordeal at the Hillary Clinton event?
Sure. I attended this speech that Hillary Clinton gave at George Washington University. And actually, when she came in, I was a little disturbed at how long the applause went on, and then I realized there I was applauding, and I said to myself, this is a woman who's partly responsible for all manner of suffering, all manner of death and dismemberment in Afghanistan, in Iraq, where she was a big promoter of that war. I said, it's pretty phony, McGovern, the way you're applauding here. So I stopped applauding. I kept standing. And then I took off my outer shirt, and I had Veterans for Peace shirt on there, and I turned my back, and I decided that it just had to be that she would not get the idea that everybody there thought that she was just doing the right thing and supporting every war that came down the pike. So I was standing there as respectfully as one can stand with one's back to the podium, not saying anything, not making any gestures, just looking. I had my eyes sort of fixed on a place in the back of the auditorium. And after 2 minutes, I'm thinking, this is going all right. I can do this for 40 minutes. And all of a sudden, I'm blindsided by a guy who comes behind me, grabs me. A great big guy, looked like a Washington Redskins reject, comes and grabs me from the front. They lift me out, put me in the aisle, and drag me out. And it was so sudden. Intelligence officers aren't supposed to admit that they were surprised. I was shocked. And so I forgot. Page 34, 35 in the Code Pink manual, which says, scream your head off as soon as they lay a hand on you. And it wasn't until I'm almost out of the auditorium, that I thought to say, so this is America now? This is America? And then I said, who are you? Who are these guys? I didn't know. All I could see was the guy in the suit. So I was taken out. They slammed the doors so none of the 18 cameras could get out there and find out what they were doing to me. They put two steel things on me, and handcuffs behind the back. And then one of the cops there says, "Oh, is that his blood?" And the guy said, No, I pricked my finger. Right. There's a hemisphere of blood all over my pants, the back of my pants. It's my blood, all right? So they put me in a patrol car, waited for the D.C. police, and turned me over to them on charges of disorderly conduct. The GW police officer confided to me that, they were thinking of charging me with illegal entry, but then they found out that what I told them was true, that I had a ticket. And then they were going to charge me with resisting arrest. And then they thought about those 18 cameras, in the fact that, what happened to me. So they settled on disorderly conduct, Now, I'm the first to admit that there was disorderly conduct there, but it wasn't I, They took me up to the precinct. Now, in New York, you say precinct. In Washington, you say the district, second district police thing. Put me in a little cell about the same size as Bradley Manning has. I'll tell you, Mansour, it was. That was. Let me tell you something. It's a little unusual, perhaps. Here I am in this place. I get greeted by this 6'7" big guy, black gloves, black everything, He says, "Come here." Now, I'm from the Bronx, right? So my instinctive reaction was, "So your mother never told you how to say please?" And I said to myself, I don't think that's appropriate in these circumstances. So I kept my mouth shut, right? So sort of became friendly. He did about 34 of these fingerprint things. I don't know what they do these days, about 34 of those things. And then, of course, they mugshotted me. I go into this little cell. Now, how am I feeling? I'm feeling really battered, but I'm totally at peace. So when I was let out of there, 5, 6 o'clock or so. They say, all right, you can go. You come back, disorderly conduct. You have to see the judge. Be arraigned. I looked at these things. I said, well, I need to get to the ER, and it's pretty nasty. So I didn't have any transportation. But before I did that, I decided I'd try to call one of the lawyers that helps people out in situations like this. Make a long story short, I couldn't find the number of the woman who's so great, but I called up another fellow who works at a nonprofit, and he works with a partnership of a man and woman, wife and husband, who do this as a matter of, that's what they do. And he said, would it be okay if she called you? And she did call me, and I'll tell you, it really strengthens your confidence in the legal profession, because they had me up the next morning, and they're now looking into whether we should proceed in any way. They're trying to find out who these two guys were, and once they find that out, who told them to do what they did to me. And it seems to be a really important First Amendment case, because you should be able to assemble freely. You should be able to, without disrupting anything, symbolically oppose what somebody like Hillary Clinton says. So we'll see what the final chapter will be, but this kind of oppression is going on with increasing frequency. As I mentioned earlier tonight, 25 of my good friends were arrested at the Pentagon just a few days ago and brutalized. 80-year-old woman knocked down, good friend of mine, Eve Tetaz. So we just have to kind of make sure that they know that we're not going to stop, that we do. They're all sworn to honor and protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, so are we. I mean, I took that oath as an Army officer. Last time I checked, it has no expiration date, okay? And so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and my friends are too.